The RCMP is facing criticism for arresting a man who identified himself as a journalist. David Menzies works for Rebel News. He tried to ask the Deputy Prime Minister some questions yesterday in Richmond Hill, Ontario, when the arrest happened. The CBC's Kate McKenna is following the story in Ottawa, and she joins us now live. So, Kate, what can you tell us about this incident?
Well, Andrew, this is a video that's making quite a splash online. The video shows David Menzies approaching Finance Minister and Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland yesterday in Ontario. It was captured on video by Rebel News.
Ms. Freeland, how come the IRGC is not a terrorist group? Why is your government supporting Islamo-Nationalism? What? Excuse me. What are you doing?
Arrest for assault.
Why
are you pushing me? You're under arrest for assault. You're under arrest for assault. Police, you're under arrest for assault.
How am I under arrest? You bumped into me.
You pushed into me.
I was just scrubbing. I got my credentials here and you just bumped into me. So excuse
Police,
me.
You're under arrest.
What is your name and your badge? What is your name and your badge?
You've been told you're under arrest.
Why am I under arrest? He blocked my way. What? I was just scrumming Chrystia Freeland.
I'm a police officer. You're under arrest.
What is your name and your badge?
Assaulting a police officer.
How is that possible?
So just to kind of reiterate a little bit of what we saw in that video, we saw that Menzies tried to ask a question to Chrystia Freeland when he's blocked by the RCMP's security detail and then told that he's under arrest. And he responds by saying, well, he was just asking questions, and moves to show his credentials to the RCMP detail. That video was released by Rebel News. It's not the entire video. The full version of the video goes on to show Mr. Menzies being arrested by York Regional Police. We did reach out to that police service that said that he was later released for having not posed a credible threat to the public, and he was released without conditions. Now, David Menzies is a reporter for Rebel News, which is a media organization that prides itself on its own website of being outside of mainstream media. It presents itself as having a conservative worldview, but this move from the RCMP detail is receiving quite a bit of criticism online and from some prominent people for how Mr. Menzies was treated by police. It was also criticized by the leader of the Conservative Party, Pierre Poilievre, who posted on X, formerly known as Twitter, saying, "This is the state of freedom of the press in Canada in 2024. Now, it is worth noting that this is not the first time Menzies has been arrested in trying to speak to politicians. In fact, even prior today, there was already a website that was set up intended to fundraise on behalf of Menzies when he is arrested. And, you know, it's also happened when he's talked to conservative politicians. For instance, he was forcibly removed from an Andrew Scheer event as well as a Melissa Lantsman event in 2021. But Ezra Levant, the publisher of the website, is saying that they are considering legal action, and they're also fundraising for that legal action on a website that's been set up following, or not following, but being promoted as part of this arrest that happened yesterday. The RCMP has not responded to a request for comment.
Kate, thank you. That is the CBC's Kate McKenna live in Ottawa.
Canada's Rebel News is threatening a lawsuit after an altercation between one of its employees and the Deputy Prime Minister's security detail. Here's CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver.
Ms. Freeland, how come
the Deputy Prime Minister was on her way to an event in Richmond Hill, Ontario.
Why is your government supporting Islamo-Nationalism?
When Rebel News' David Menzies tried to ask a question, she didn't answer. Then Menzies and an RCMP officer made contact.
You're under arrest for assault.
The RCMP telling Menzies repeatedly he's under arrest for assault. That prompts this prolonged interaction.
How am I under arrest? You bumped into me.
You pushed into me.
Menzies is then cuffed and put into the back of a police car. He was later released without charge. In a statement, Rebel News says, "We have retained legal counsel and expect to sue the RCMP, York Regional Police and Freeland as soon as this week for false arrest, false imprisonment, malicious prosecution and assault." The Deputy Prime Minister's office says they won't comment on matters of Freeland's security, while the RCMP says it's looking into the incident and the actions of all parties.
There's certainly crowding the minister, but certainly not in any way threatening her. And I just thought it was totally unnecessary by the police officer to actually stop and arrest him.
Menzies has been arrested at least 4 times while working for Rebel News, which describes itself as a generally conservative media outlet. In 2019, he was forcibly removed from an Andrew Scheer campaign event. Then again in 2021, following an encounter with Conservative MP Melissa Lantsman.
You're a thug. You're a thug. What are your names?
And in December 2021, there was this incident involving members of the Prime Minister's RCMP detail.
Certainly all the RCMP officers know who Mr. Menzies is as well. So this didn't come as a surprise to anybody. So the debate will be, was it an assault? When the arrest was effected, was it too aggressive?
In a tweet, the Conservative leader said this was an attack on press freedom and linked to a Conservative Party petition calling for support and donations to stop censoring Canadian journalists.
We're going to defund the CBC.
Pierre Poilievre has said he intends to defund the CBC, which employs about 1/3 of the journalistic workforce in Canada. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.